Hey, good morning, everybody. Appreciate you all coming out on a Friday. I know everybody has busy schedules. We're excited for today. This is something that's been in the work for quite some time to get Phase 4 of our Stones River Greenway System open, and really appreciate you coming to share the moment. You know, our Greenway system is so incredibly important to Murfreesboro. It's been that way since really its inception and conception from the very beginning, and I think we look back at the past 6 months, and I think the Greenway system has really proven how valuable and how needed and how vital it is to the city. A lot of times over the past 6 months, that was their outlet for people, and it's been an introduction to outdoor activity and movement and much needed time to get out and enjoy nature. So we're excited to officially open this, even though it's been used quite heavily over the past few months, and people just love the trail and what they experience on this new section of trail. So as we get started, we have just kind of a small program. We wanted to just lay out a few things and give the opportunity for a few important folks to speak. First, I'd like to ask Assistant Director Rachel Singer, who's been instrumental in this project, to come up and give kind of just an accurate description of what patrons and Greenway users can experience as they enjoy this new section of trail. So Rachel, come on up.
Good morning. Thank you, Nate. It's good to see all of you here. I did make some notes because I have a lot to talk about and I didn't want to forget anything, so bear with me. But I'm really excited about this new part of the Greenway. It's quickly become one of my favorite sections of our beautiful Greenway. So I want to tell you a little bit about it in case you haven't had the chance to get on it yourself. But then I'm going to encourage you to do it personally. So Phase 4 completes the Murfreesboro Stones River Greenway to the southern terminus, which is right here in Barfield Crescent Park, where you're all sitting. The almost 3 miles of this section follows the west fork of the Stones River through limestone bottom rivers and tributaries, hardwood forests, cedar-like glade environments. Mature trees, native wildflowers, and rock outcrops dot the landscape to make an enjoyable corridor through multiple habitats. Wildlife is abundant, such as our famous great horned owls, bobcats, and deer, which are all observable along the meandering asphalt trail. 3 river crossings on this section. 2 are steel bridges, which are beautiful. 3 new trailheads accompany this section. Each trailhead offers parking, trash receptacles, benches, map and rule kiosks, and 2 of our trailheads also offer interpretive panels about the local flora and fauna, just like the one behind me, so I encourage you guys to look at it and read over it. Since the inception of the first leg of the Murfreesboro Greenway System on the north side of the county about 20 years ago, patrons have expressed a desire for the trail to extend all the way to Barfield Crescent Park in the southern end of the county. While some citizens use the trail for transportation, most use the trail for outdoor exercise and connecting with nature. During this time of a pandemic, the popularity of the Greenway has increased tenfold as the community looks for outdoor activities that are deemed safe for all ages and abilities. Runners, walkers, cyclists, dog walkers, roller skaters enjoy the trail that meanders next to our Stones River. Both amateur and professional photographers have discovered the Greenway as the perfect backdrop, and bird watchers were intrigued as they watched a pair of owlets fledge from their nest this summer. Because Phase 4 connects to several neighborhoods, access to the Greenway is easy, allowing a greater portion of the city's population to enjoy our trail. With this new addition, the Greenway now connects 2 of the 3 largest city parks, 2 dog parks, and a historical village replica, which we all know as Cannonsburgh, and also the Stones River National Battlefield. This is truly a gem in our community, and I hope all of you guys can get out and see this new section. With the addition of this wonderful trail, I thought it was a good time to introduce our Parks and Recreation Natural Resource Division, who play a key role in the entire Greenway system, trails in our park, as well as our wetlands. Over the last 3 years, dedicated staff has worked hard to identify unique and natural areas within our parks to better maintain their natural function. Especially in a fast-growing community such as Murfreesboro, it becomes even more imperative that we don't just preserve the green space, but also the native ecosystems for our plants and our wildlife. The goals of our Parks Natural Resource Division is to protect, restore, and maintain the natural resources within Murfreesboro Park System. In order to achieve this, staff focuses on 3 main areas. The first is restoration. This is returning areas to the original ecosystem functions. So examples of this would be exotic plant removal and control, a native plant nursery to provide these restored areas with indigenous plants, as well as managing an area with prescribed burns. The second focus would be our sensitive species. So some of Tennessee's rare and endangered plants and animals are found in our parks. For species approaching extinction, parks may provide the last remnants of their habitats, which were largely lost as Murfreesboro natural landscape was altered. Park resource specialists monitor many of these species in the parks to identify adverse changes in their habitats and correct them through resource management work. When appropriate, wildlife habitats can also be enhanced. The third is monitoring. So inventory efforts are being used in our parks to identify and catalog species of plants, trees, and wildlife, to assess and document long-term trends in the condition of park natural resources, including our plants and wildlife and their important habitats. Murfreesboro Parks also supports scientific studies by universities such as MTSU and other researchers who use parklands as sites for conducting studies designed to help us understand the ecological health of a park. Parklands maintained as natural areas can also serve as points of reference to evaluate changes in the surrounding area. In conclusion, Murfreesboro Parks are some of the best in the nation, and you don't have to go far in the city to experience one of these great places. It's wonderful as a staff member to have so many opportunities to serve this community, improve our natural areas, and to be a part of enhancing the quality of life for our patrons. Thanks. I'm going to turn it back over to Nate.
Thank you, Rachel. We wouldn't have this greenway system and our incredible park system without our city council and our leadership that we have throughout the city. So I'd like Councilman Shacklet, if you don't mind coming up and speaking just for a moment on behalf of the mayor and council. We'd appreciate that.
Well, it's an honor to be with you today. I was thinking, as I was asked to say a few words, what makes our community so special, and so much of what we are as a community. I don't know if you remember, or I guess it was last week I heard that we were the 19th fastest growing community in the country, and the only city in Tennessee that's in the top 20 fastest growing cities in the state. So we have a lot to be grateful for, all right? But our community, what a community is so much more than just its economy and the businesses and the homes that we have in our community. And I'm just grateful for all those people who had the foresight. And I remember Bertha Kritzberg, who helped, was taking MTSU students down the Stones River to show them something that I'm not sure everybody really realized was a great resource of our community years ago. She introduced those folks to the real resource that our Greenway could be. And then thanks to people like Bart and others that saw that vision and followed through on it to make it a reality in our community, we're just very fortunate because it's not just the economic value of our community, but the aesthetics of our community is what makes a community special. And we're fortunate to have the Greenway system because it feeds our soul. Being out in nature and being able to see, so many things that God has created in this area, a very special place that we have to experience that for our children and the generations to come is a very special opportunity. And this extension even enhances that more when we have more places to go, more opportunities for our citizens to enjoy that. It makes, again, another reason for Murfreesboro to be the special place. I don't care whether you're red or blue or left or right. The one thing we all agree on, we live in a very special place, and that's Murfreesboro. And I thank all those that had made an effort to bring this to fruition. And I just thank you for the effort and for the vision that the Greenway system represents in our community. And on behalf of the mayor and the council, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Our Greenway Projects Committee is really the catalyst for why our Greenway system has expanded the way it has and provides oversight for our staff to really run things by and work on strategically as we move forward and as the Greenway grows. The chairman of that committee is Mr. Kent Seiler. Kent, will you come up and speak on behalf of that committee, please?
Thank you, Nate, and thank you, Councilman Shacklet. The support that we've had since we started these projects from our city leaders has really made all this progress, all these great things that have been able to happen with the Greenway. They wouldn't be possible without a great group of people working together. So thank you. I want to mention, too, I don't think we have any of them here, but we've got a very good special projects committee that has meets frequently to help work and plan these things, and it's Lamar Dixon, Anita Pirtle, Troy Robinson, and Dan Charley, and myself. So that has been a good group to work with, and working with Parks and Recreation and keeping these projects moving. It's 25 years ago, I guess, Bart, or maybe a little bit more, when we started planning this. And part of it was to connect these underutilized and unutilized resources to the river. Was largely lost to us, Lytle Creek, connect all of these, parks that we have. And, over the last 25 years, I think we're up to around 17 miles now. And I keep wanting the council and the city government to kind of keep up with this, what I call the 1 mile rule, where we try to average adding another mile of Greenway a year. Because we knew 25 years ago that if we were going to preserve Murfreesboro's quality of life the way it was growing, we needed to think ahead and to invest. We thought we were growing fast 25 years ago. We never thought that we would be growing like we're growing today. So it puts more pressure on us as leaders in the community to continue to make sure we're planning the next steps. So thank you again for all that all of you have done and for supporting this system. Thanks, Nate.
I'd like to introduce Congressman Gordon. Would you like to join us and say a few words? You've been so instrumental to the Greenway system in Murfreesboro just in general and all of these amenities, and we thank you for that. So please.
Well, thank you, Nate and Rachel and Bill and Kent. I think we're at the point of the program where everything's been said. It's just everybody hasn't said it. So I'll try to be brief, but there is a couple of things I want to talk about. First, Rachel, it was really inspiring to hear all the programming that you're doing. The Greenway should be more than just asphalt, down by the river. And so that's, really good. I'm glad to hear all of that programming. And Kent is closer to 35 years than 25, but, time does go along, as you know. But this really, it could not have occurred if it hadn't been for every mayor and city councilman from Joe B. Jackson to Shane and Bill and his compatriots. So, Bill, thank you. The city council has always been there. And I also know that there are a lot of curmudgeons that are sitting on the couch watching TV saying, what's the city doing with this Greenway stuff? What are you doing here? Well, I think the primary responsibility of the city is to well educate our kids and to pick up the garbage and to make sure that our citizens are safe. But what makes us different, as Bill pointed out, between being a city or a town that is stagnant and one that is vibrant, is the quality of life. And I would suspect that the vast majority of the folks here today either grew up in the area or came to MTSU and stayed, or some business brought you here. And that was really because of the quality of life. And you want to be able to make sure your kids can stay. And that's why that we're making, this investment. And it's also so we bring in tourists. let them come in and stay a day or two. Let them be on the Greenway. Let them go to Stones River Battlefield. Buy some gas, buy some food, and let them help with the tax base that we don't have to buy. You don't have to build schools for. So there's many reasons, but Murfreesboro is not growing and prospering out of luck. It was really out of good planning, and it's really, even though those 35 years ago I was ambitious and hopeful, but to think now that you can go from the southern end of Murfreesboro, the knoll up there at Barfield, basically through the town, you go to Stones River. Go to Thompson Lane Trailhead, get on the bikeways, and then, as was mentioned, hopefully soon the next link will be able to take the Greenway through Siegel and through Miller and on up and to connect with the really the very, very pretty Greenway section from Walter Hill Dam. And so let me talk a little bit maybe now about the future. And I was just telling Nate earlier, and we were on the same wavelength. Back in 2010, I was able to get an authorization for a little over $10 million for the Greenway at Walter Hill. Now, an authorization really is sort of like a bucket. You know, it says, okay, this is a good idea. Now, you can do it if somebody puts some money in the bucket. Well, we were able to get about $5 million in the bucket, and so we got it halfway done. Earlier this year, I went to see Lamar Alexander, who has always been a friend of our city, has always been helpful, and he was able to add a couple more $1 million to that bucket. And so we've got one more leg that's going to go out there at that Greenway. So we got one more. We got to get one more done, and then we'll go from the extreme southern part of Murfreesboro to the extreme northern part within close proximity to most every neighborhood. That's really, in the 19th fastest growing community in the nation, that's pretty phenomenal. And as Nate was pointing out, what the big dream is that we're fortunate that the Corps of Engineers owns a right-of-way, and there's already a horse trail there. So we're able to go, I hope, at some point from Murfreesboro to the Greenway that we helped build in Smyrna, to the Greenway that we helped build in Laverne, and then you go into Long Hunter Park, and then that takes you into the Nashville Greenway that gets you downtown. That would be phenomenal, and that would be one more element to this quality of life that makes it all better for us. And so I just want to thank the mayor, the city council. I guess we're on the second or third generation of dedicated city employees, and as well as volunteers. It's a team effort. Everybody's doing their part, and seeing these people walk up and down here just as we've been here makes it real, puts a face on it that people really do appreciate it. So thank you all.
Thank you, Congressman. There's a lot of work that goes into a trail system like this, and many years, right, Angela, of getting it done. So there's a lot of people to thank. I want to thank Craig Tyndall, our city manager, for always supporting Parks and Recreation, one of our biggest supporters. Of course, our mayor and council. Angela Jackson's our executive director of community services and is really responsible for the quality of programming and the standard that's been set for years. So thank you for that, Angela. And then also our traffic or transportation director, Craig, Jim, thank you so much for helping us through this project. And then our engineering, Joe Elabin was our project manager for this and stuck with it. And sometimes there was a lot of fun and sometimes where we had to push pretty hard. So Joe, thank you for that. I'd be remiss if I didn't say how extremely grateful we are for our maintenance crew. Our Greenway's open 365 days a year, 7 days a week. Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter. They don't miss a day and do their best to keep it as clean, safe, and fun as possible. So at this point, we're going to cut the ribbon. I hope you can stick around. We've got some refreshments for you. So if I could have Kent, Congressman Gordon, Bill, and Angela and Craig, will you come up with us as we make the ceremonial cut here? And then again, thank you for coming and enjoy some refreshments that we have. We're just going to go right up here, Kent.
All right. We need to get that service, those scissors some more work.
Yeah, we do.
Who gets the scissors?
I switched audio.
Okay, ready to go? Good. Okay, one more leg.
Thank you all so much for coming. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Good, good.